Hi, I'm Brian Marsh, your potential coach. In today's video, we are going to discuss overcoming decision fatigue and how to make faster, smarter decisions. The first step to overcoming decision fatigue is to start with the end in mind. What is it that you are wanting to accomplish? Understand that before you get started. That is important because every decision you make along the way should be a decision that is designed to get you to your ultimate destination. So each and every decision, however big or however small, should be congruent and consistent with the end vision you have already imagined. If you're not clear on your vision, I suggest a couple of things. One of the things that I suggest is that you look at one of my previous videos where I talk about the importance and the significance of developing a vision board. You need clarity in order to understand exactly where you are going. The vision board will help you with that clarity. Beginning with the end in mind will also help you with your clarity, as will making sure every decision that you make along the way is consistent and congruent with your end vision. When we're talking about decision fatigue, the second point that I want to cover with you is the law of polarity. So that might be new to some of you, but there are universal laws that operate regardless of whether you know they are operating or not. In some of my previous videos, I've talked about the law of entropy as an example. I've talked about the law of diminishing returns or the law of relativity. Right now, let's talk about the law of polarity. Because we're talking about making decisions, there are always two sides to every decision that has to be made. Think of the law of polarity in terms of polar. There has to be an opposite side to everything. If there's a male, there has to be a female. If there's a negative, there has to be a positive. If there's heat, there has to be cold. So that is what polarity is. Why does that become important? It becomes important because if you understand polarity, it will help you frame the way you make decisions so that you can overcome that decision fatigue and make better, smarter, faster decisions. And oftentimes, most individuals don't look at all sides of the issue before they make a decision. And so they lament on just one point that they have come to, when in point of fact, there are multiple points that you can come to. You've never seen a one-sided quarter, right? You've never seen a one-sided pancake, and you never will because of polarity. There are multiple sides to every issue. So understand that when you're making a decision, decide up front that you are going to frame the decision that you make in the context of everything that you know about the decision, and understand that once you decide on what you are going to do, learn the opposite side of that decision. I've spent some time talking to you about the polarity of decisions. Now, I want to talk to you about the consequences of those decisions. A lot of people believe and oftentimes say, you live with your decisions. I believe a better statement is, you live with your consequences. The decision is actually made in a moment of time. The consequences can go on for an extended period of time. So if you spend as much time or even more time thinking about the actual consequences of your decision, that will also help you overcome decision fatigue, because if you cannot live with the consequences of the decision, if you can't countenance what is going to happen as a result of this decision, it clearly is not a decision that you should make. You're making the wrong move here. So overcome decision fatigue by understanding that consequences are a bigger part of the decision than you previously thought. Can you live with the consequences of that opposite side of the decision? Can you live with the consequences of the decision you have made? If you can live with the consequences, great. You've made your decision. Move forward. That helps you make quicker, faster, smarter decisions. The decision becomes smarter because you have all of the information. This is Brian Marsh, your potential coach. For more information, please subscribe to this YouTube channel. See you next time.